You have an interview. How exciting. But oh my God, now what do I do? This is a conversation I have with clients quite a bit. I'm Anne Marie Segal. I've been an executive coach and attorney been an executive coach and resume writer for 10 years, an attorney for 15 years. This is the 13th video in a series called Making Your Comeback. In this video in particular, I want to mention that I'm also the author of, quote, Master the Interview. That's the title of my book. Um, This is not about my book. Just to put it out there, there's a lot more information I could share. This is a quick video, really dedicated to the tens of thousands of people who have lost their jobs recently in America. Um, in the spring of 2025, the tens of thousands of layoffs that we've experienced. Um, this is a happy day if you're watching this video and you have an interview. And if you don't yet have an interview, it's coming. Trust me, it's coming, especially if you put into practice what I've talked about in these videos and whatever other good advice you have gotten. And good advice, I mean, you want to be careful to filter the advice to what makes sense to you, what resonates with you. And even here, as I'm talking through interview practices today, remember it changes based on your field, your industry, and you as an individual, what feels authentic and right for you. That being said, the most important thing in an interview is to be a compelling, energetic, positive candidate. When you reach the upper levels of an organization, obviously that's table stakes. You've got to bring more than that, but you still need to bring that. You want to be showing your skills, but not in a way that you sound like you're being didactic, not in a way that sounds like you have all the answers and you're not versatile and agile and ready, flexible and ready to change to meet the needs of the new role. You want to have your reason for leaving your most recent role ready to go. I talk about that in a prior video as well. I'll put the link below. And you want to be creating a situation where you are bringing people toward you. You're sharing information that creates a bond between you and your interviewer, albeit a professional one. And what I mean by that is you're not there to make friends with the interviewer, you're there to be hired for the role. So you want to create a bond, but you also want to have some distance. You want to be what I often call authentic, but not transparent. You don't need to give all of the information and all of your thoughts on a topic. Present yourself in the best the best way that you can as a professional, the best version of yourself. This is exhausting if you go on many, many interviews, unless you keep practicing and you make it second nature. I've been recording all of these videos in this series in one day. You'll see I've got the same thing on every day. No, it's because it's all the same day. I've been thinking about making this series for weeks. I've been planning what I wanted to do. I know that I'm my best and can really link the different concepts together when I do it in what they call chunking, like all at one time. Um, you will find your best way to pace yourself in terms of preparing for interviews and in terms of getting through them. If you really know yourself and you allow yourself to move out of that world of shoulds and get to how can I best show up? What do I want to present to the world? How do I want to be a positive force? And how do I get there? And interviewing, it's a scary thing for many people, but really at the end of the day, it's a conversation. Yes, they have the power to hire you or not. You have the power to take the job or not. You should be interviewing them back as well. It also will help in terms of compensation discussions. You don't want to look as though you are so desperate for a role that you're willing to go with whatever they propose. Then again, you don't want to play too hard to get either. I mentioned in another video, it's kind of like dating. If you think about it, it's the same idea, obviously with a different end, but you want to be you want to be wanted, you want to make sure that you present yourself as, I mean, whatever amount of money they're paying you, that you're worth it. So, what else do you want to know about interviewing? The deer in headlights questions are something to really focus on. The deer in headlights meaning like something completely startles you, um, comes out of left field and you don't know how to answer it. How will you be ready for questions like that? How can you start to formulate an answer when you're not even sure what you're about to say next, so that your brain can kick into place? Um, I would practice that. I would practice trying to take what they call left field questions, um, something that's unexpected, and polish yourself in terms of a candidate. I would also be thinking about what are my biggest accomplishments? What are the things that I can rely on in terms of if I get a question about how I managed a team or overcame a failure or had an ethical dilemma or whatever, I can sorry, these accomplishments, these projects that I was involved with, hopefully in a large to a large extent, end to end, or a big part of a project, that I can go back and mine that for something that I can present in terms of an answer. There's obviously more in terms of being the best candidate. I could go on and on for hours in this video. But a couple more things that I would want to make sure to tell you. You want to sound polished, but not too rehearsed. You don't want to give very, very long answers to things when shorter answers would suffice. You certainly don't want to be giving inside information to a new employer about where you've worked in the past. You want to show that you have discretion and you know where to draw that line. You don't want to show negativity in an interview. The last thing they want is to hire someone who's got a cloud over their head and is going to bring that all in to the new role. If you don't know something that they've asked about, maybe you can kind of argue by analogy. In other words, you haven't done X, but you've done something like it that will help you learn and quickly get up to speed on X, whatever it is. Maybe it's a program that they use, or maybe it's a subject matter that you don't have expertise in yet. That being said, you also want to be preparing yourself, learning as much as you can about the organization, learning about the industry, learning about what matters most to them. Like, what are they actually trying to accomplish? What is their mission? And how would the role that you're looking for fit into that? As well as know yourself. Know your own background. If you did something 10 years ago that's relevant to the new role, but you can't really even remember what you did, take the time to re-educate yourself, even if that means from publicly available material. I did, excuse me, I did something and I don't really remember the details of what I did. This is you talking to yourself, not to the interviewer, obviously. Um, but I can go and research about it to help trigger my memory or to help sound smart about it, basically. That's a big part of interviewing, is sounding smart without sounding like a know-it-all. And sounding like you're going to be a part of the team and you're going to contribute and you're going to frankly be someone that they want to work with. Best of luck in your interviews.